Day one of the Jacksonville Jaguars OTA period is officially in the books, and we got to see a lot of new guys like Tank Bigsby, Brian Thomas, Javon Foster. I mean, there's guys everywhere working in camp battles, trying to earn themselves big time positions on this football team. So there's definitely a lot to go over in this video, and we're going to cover it all. Before we jump in to all the news, notes, highlights, and observations from day one at Jaguars OTA period, comment down below who are you most excited to see get together with the veterans, or even a veteran player coming in. Let me know who you're most excited to see, but also, who do you think will have the biggest impact this season on this Jaguars team as a newcomer? Whether it's a Gabe Davis, whether it's a Brian Thomas, whether it's a guy like, I don't even know, Mason Smith, right? There's so many guys who can come in here and make big time, contributions. Comment down below who you think will be the biggest acquisition and the biggest, newcomer to this Jaguars team. Now, let's get into the video a little bit. Now, one thing we have heard consistently over the past few months here is the Jaguars really want to lower a little bit of Travis Etienne's workload, but also make sure that Tank Bigsby gets his opportunity to shine. Now, the big question mark is, will he be productive with those snaps? Obviously, you have a guy like Dearness Johnson. You draft a 5th-round running back in Keelan Robinson. But Tank Bigsby is a former 3rd-round pick of last season. Wasn't really too active last year because I think he had some fumble issues early in the season. And then Travis Etienne was just so productive. But they want to make sure that Etienne can stay healthy. So I think we're going to get to see a lot out of Tank Bigsby going into the season. And I'm really hoping that he is able to, showcase what he can actually do. Because back at Auburn, the man was a stud. Now, a couple of other things to note. Brian Thomas, man, you see him right away working with, the wide receiver coach. He's really getting active, really trying to grind here, and, make sure he is really good for day one, come, preseason, training camp, regular season, whatnot. So I think Brian Thomas is a guy who flashes potential. We'll talk about him a little bit later on in the video. We also got to see, Christian Kirk healthy, back playing. Not playing, obviously, but practicing with the team a little bit. And again, take everything with a grain of salt because there's no pads, there's no contact or anything like that. It's basically just, going through air, which is fine. You can see footwork. You can see a little bit of flashing of potential, especially from the wide receivers in the DB room. Now, the biggest questions right now in my eyes are probably the rotation with the wide receiver room right now. Obviously, Gabe Davis coming over from Buffalo. You got Brian Thomas. You have Christian Kirk. But who's going to be the number 4 guy? Is it a Devin Duvernay? Is it a Tim Jones? Is it a Parker Washington, the former 6th round of last year? Let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think the number 4 wide receiver is going to be on this team? But outside of that, man, I think they have a lot of really good talent here. I mean, you see Trevor Lawrence going through some workouts, going through some drills right here. Trevor Lawrence needs to take a major jump up, and I think this is the season he's going to do it. You have Evan Ingram, Brian Thomas, Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk. You do lose Calvin Ridley, but the room looks really, really good, if you ask me. Even Brenton Strange, a 2nd-round pick, again, he's a guy that's going to have to make a major jump this season as well. We'll see what he can do, but man, I'm just excited overall. Now, let's go over a couple of things that you guys are going to need to watch over the next couple of weeks here as we continue into OTAs and get into mandatory minicamp. Before we do that, though, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the like button, join the family. It's free, doesn't cost anything, and we will be covering the Jaguars throughout the entirety of OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training camp, preseason, right? Everything, and it's free. Join the family. Okay, now we're gonna see a lot of Ryan Nielsen implementing his scheme, right? He's really got to get active. He's really got to get these guys into the swing of things. So that is one thing I am really looking forward to. With these OTAs, that's something they're really going to need to progress in. It's going to be a new look defense, right? They obviously fired Mike Caldwell and most of his staff as well. So, hey, we need to really see what Ryan Nielsen's going to bring, and we'll start to see some of these guys get involved. Now, they're really, really interested in seeing these rookies mix in with the veterans. Obviously, Brian Thomas, Mason Smith, Jarrian Jones, and other guys are going to be dropped into practice for the first time with a bunch of veterans. So how do they compete and how do they look compared to some of these other veterans in the lineup? Got to keep a close eye on some of these guys, specifically in the D line room as well, right? Jaguar 2nd-round pick and 4th-round pick, Jordan Jefferson, will be able to take reps alongside Eric Armstead, Roy Robertson Harris, Devon Hamilton, and Adam Gotsis as well. So those guys need to soak up some information and really get involved early and show that you want to be here. Show that you want to be the best possible player that you can be. Learn, develop, and get mentored by some of these, solid veteran defensive linemen here already. Now, there's also some guys I'm really going to keep a close eye on. 4 of them, specifically from last year's draft. This is the season you want to see guys really take big jumps. Brenton Strange, Tank Bigsby, Anton Harris, and Antonio Johnson. Those guys need to take bigger jumps this season. We already talked a little bit about Tank Bigsby, but man, Brenton Strange as well. Antonio Johnson, right? To Anton Harris. These guys need to take big leaps this year, and I think they really, really can. But when it comes down to who I think will have the biggest impact day one, I really, really do believe it will be Brian Thomas, man. You look at what he did in college, the man presents the unbelievable combination of size, length, speed, with experience working inside and out. So not only is he dynamic, but he's versatile. I think he's going to be someone who's going to come in as a really good route runner with good bend athleticism, good speed, and I think he's just going to get better and better. He's very elusive against press. He can uncover quickly underneath. He still has some things that he needs to improve on his route tree and needs to be a little bit more physical, but man, I think this dude has all the tools in the world to be a wide receiver 1 in the NFL. So I'm definitely most excited to see him. Who are you guys most excited to see? Hit that like button, join the family, and more news, notes, and highlights coming out very, very soon. Join the family, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's OTA session.